What's going on, folks? Here, another edition of Boxing Chit, slightly later than usual, but we are here. We're here to talk about boxing, all that good stuff. What's going on there with your boss?
Yeah, it's been a pretty, kind of not so much happening anyway this weekend, either with me in private or with boxing. So yeah, it's been a little slow weekend, slower. Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, certainly. We didn't have a ton of huge names that were in the mix there, but we did have some, and we're just gonna bring it to you all straight. Keep it short and sweet, all that good stuff. But we're here,
yeah,
as mentioned, boxing shit. Be sure to go like and subscribe. Anything you see there, follow Boz's Boxing. You should see his channel or recall, and of course, give us a subscription, like, or whatever it may
yeah.
be as well. So you are appreciated. But with that in mind, we're going to jump straight into it and salute to Skywalker Boxing Media. Be sure to go check out Skywalker Boxing Media as well, who is in the mix here. But the biggest fight of the weekend, marquee fight, especially over in the UK, but it was Galal Yafai, the younger of the Yafai brothers, one who was promising and an Olympian. I think he won a medal, might have been a gold medal, but I know he's an Olympian and all of that stuff. He was taking on seemingly the battle-tested Sonny Edwards, former world champion there at flyweight, and this fight was coming what some may have deemed a bit early for Yafai. Me being one of those, I thought it would be one where Sonny Edwards would have more experience and be able to take advantage of such. But this fight in itself was one that, hey, probably surprised a lot of people just in the way that it went down, because it was almost a complete wash in the sense of Galal Yafai showed that he was the real deal, coming forward, pressing
Yeah.
the entire time, picking up a 6-round stoppage over Sonny Edwards there, Boz. I know you caught that contest. I wanted to get your thoughts on the fight in itself, and then essentially what's next for Yafai, because for Edwards, it seems that he may be done.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he did announce his retirement afterwards. So, but we know they usually don't last, in the boxing world. But yeah, probably it would be better for Sonny to have a year at least off now and then see what happens. But yeah, that was a big surprise. I mean, Yafai took control from the start, like from the first second, and Sonny, it looked like he was just trying to survive, and I thought he did all right in the second and third round. I may even gave him the third round, even though it was very close. But after that, yeah, he just kept getting pounded, and it was a beatdown, really. Pretty one-sided, not completely, but much more than anybody could anticipate, definitely. And yeah, I feel he could have probably gone on maybe a little bit longer, but it's better that he did, because he wasn't really, offering much, Edwards, in this fight. And yeah, I don't know why. Of course, nobody expected such a one-sided fight. I don't think anybody did, not even your five supporters, probably his most ardent fans. And yeah, I think maybe this fight came a little too soon. Maybe Jesse Rodriguez did destroy Sonny Edwards. Maybe he took his soul, as they say. I don't know, but this wasn't the Sonny Edwards that we know. Definitely last night. That's all I can say. Yeah,
Yeah, he seemed to be in a pretty bad place there
yeah,
strategically as far as what was going on, and I guess mentally as well, because he spent the entirety of the contest pretty much on the back foot, which is not
yeah,
something which is something we have seen from him, and he's usually able to work about it a bit better. And one of the things that I
mhm,
noticed is that when he was able to get off a good shot, solid shot, probably his best punches, it didn't really affect Yafai much, and he continued to come
yeah,
forward. And I think that constant pressure right there eventually just broke Sonny Edwards, just totally broke him in terms of his spirit and his will to continue forward. And actually, I saw out there on Instagram that there was a little clip from him in the corner where he told his coach something to the tune of, "I'm going to be honest with you, I don't want to be here right now." And once you hear something like that in the midst of a contest, in the midst of battle, especially in a sport like boxing, then that pretty much spells the end of the road for the most part, especially when you're not a guy who has an eraser or anything of that nature, because Sonny Edwards 20 plus fights, he only has 4 knockouts. So he's content, and
Yeah.
he's built his record based on being able to outbox and outwit opponents there in the ring with his defensive prowess, his movement and footwork, and usually avoiding the type of punishment that he was taking in this contest. But I do, as mentioned, think the fact that he told his coach he didn't want to be there right in the middle of the contest. I don't know what round it was, but that was pretty telling.
He was doing a lot of talking before a fight for sure, but of course, he didn't come nowhere near to backing it up. And I'm glad at least that there was no bad blood after a fight, and Yafai was very generous and hugged him after the fight, and he said that I believe he said something afterwards that kind of that praised Sonny as a fighter. But yeah, it was kind of sad to see. But he did have. I mean, the difference in the number of pro fights between those two was huge. Yafai came in with 8-0, I believe, and Sonny was 21-1. So
Yeah.
that's huge difference.
Yeah.
So and I was surprised to see that actually Yafai is older. He's 31, while Sonny is 28 still only. So
Oh,
he
wow.
is pro really
Crazy.
late. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't think Yafai was older. I knew Sonny was 28, but I wasn't sure on Yafai. But man, he's older. What the heck?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I don't really.
And so he's on
Sonny
a
just.
quicker trajectory than, especially coming out of the Olympics and all that stuff. Usually you kind of fast track your way forward. Real quick, I just want to say shout out to Skywalker says Yafai dominated. Wasn't expecting Sonny to lose so bad. Shout out to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Says salute Josh and Boz as well. And salute to Skywalker. Appreciate you there, Bruce. Hey, be sure to check out Bruce Gas as well. Entertaining content there on his side. Be sure to go check out some of his videos, like and subscribe. I think you'll enjoy for sure. But excuse me, as I mentioned there, you're usually fast tracking it when you're turning pro at a later age, especially if you have the Olympic pedigree, the amateur pedigree of Yafai and all of that stuff. But I was going to say that even though he was fast tracking it, I think I lost the initial point what I had, but something around basically, I thought that I hadn't seen anything from Yafai that made me think that he would be able to do what he did to Edwards coming into the contest, because Yafai, he had a close fight. I don't know if it was this last time out or prior to that, where it was very not necessarily it was more underwhelming performance, and I don't recall who he was taking on, but it was in a fight or two prior to this, but it might have been his actual last fight. So I thought, wow, this is a big jump he's making right here. And really, even though he's looked good at in spots and all that stuff, I hadn't seen anything that made me think that Yafai was ready for this level of contest.
Yeah.
But hey, he proved me wrong.
Yeah. Many were questioning whether he was ready, whether it was too soon. But yeah, I think he was a little maybe lucky that this wasn't the best version of Sonny Edwards. So yeah, but also when you this, of course, as you said, Sonny is not a puncher, so it wasn't a dangerous fight. Just the only danger was that he could be dominated, and so people would say, "Oh, he's not as good. He's a hype job." But of course, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, he also has that. Definitely, he's not a big puncher, but still hits harder than Sonny. Definitely, so he had that advantage as well. So that he was able to end the fight, before it went to the late rounds. Yeah. Because I remember watching the fight and talking to my friend who also loves boxing. Anthony, shout out from Wales, and he said like he thought that Yafai would guess if he just because he opened so fast, so furiously,
Oh
and
yeah,
yeah,
same
had the
here.
fight for a few more rounds, maybe. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, he kept it up the entire time. Got to give him that. Salute to Rodolfo Rivera Jr. in the mix right there. Appreciate you there, Rodolfo Rivera Jr. in the mix, aka Fito, aka Rudy. Let's go. But anyway, yeah, you're right. I thought he would slow down, and he did not slow down. I'll give him that. Yafai kept coming forward, just marching forward, and he was pretty much eating everything that Sonny had to offer. So Sonny didn't really have much on the power side. So taking that into account, you know what I'm saying? Just thinking about what's next before getting to Yafai. So Sonny Edwards, he says that he's retired. He's announced it. And of course, we've heard this from boxers before. Maybe a little time off changes things somewhat. But just thinking about it, I thought that in the immediate aftermath of the contest, at least, he's in an interesting spot because he's at 112 pounds. He doesn't really have the type of pop where he's going to trouble you in that sense, which I've mentioned. So if he moves up to 118, of course, there are going to be some bigger punchers there, and then up and up, that's going to continue to be the case. So I wonder would his best notion or move, and easier said than done, I suppose, though not out of the question, would be moving down to 108. Assuming he was able to make something like 108. So that's 4 pounds right there, which, he's 28 years old. So usually you're moving up as opposed to going down once you get there. But we have seen where boxers have made that jump. And I think that there's still some pretty solid fights there at 108 pounds that could take place, especially with some guys that are moving up or may ultimately move up from 105, for instance, like the Oscar Colado or something of that nature.
I mean, Yafai should be in the line because he now holds the WBC interim belt. He should be in the line to fight the main champion, who is Kenshiro Teraji, who he just won. Also last month to the WBC belt. Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah, that'll be a good one right there.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah, and who would you favor in that contest?
Well, it's kind of hard. I mean, Teraji does have more experience and all that, but I don't know really. I think probably right now, but he also has just moved up from light flyweight, so I don't know really. He's a little smaller than Yafai, I would think probably. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that makes it interesting. So that could potentially happen. Then another name that was thrown out there, shout out Rodolfo, but Bam Rodriguez, he's at 115 pounds, of course. So that's a slight jump, but what about the prospect of say Yafai? I wonder if that's offered like a chance at Bam if he take that, even though he'd be moving up and it would be his first fight at 115.
I hope not for Yafai's sake. I don't think his manager wants him to fight that guy either. Right now, anyway, not now. That guy is a destroyer, really.
Yeah, he's proven to be such.
Yeah, he's a merciless destroyer.
So that was one that was thrown out there. So Taraji seems more likely there in terms of potential contest, and then we'll see. So that would be interesting. I suppose it might go down in Japan unless they can lure him over to the UK or something, or maybe they could get some Riyadh season type backing. Could be in some other spot that's more neutral, I guess.
I mean, right now you really don't have that many like bigger names in flyweight. Dalakian, yeah, that's right. He's also flyweight.
No, Dalakian, he only had that one loss, so he's pretty solid from an overall perspective.
That guy Seigo Yuri Akui, he's also now.
Akui. Oh yeah, he doesn't have that many fights either, right? They have a similar amount of fights, huh?
Yeah, he's one of the top guys. Also, he's a BoxRec has him at number 2 actually.
Akui, okay.
And also Angel Ayala Lardizabal. He's also he's the IBF champion. Oh, that's right, the new IBF.
I remember him for some reason. I don't remember. I gotta look into
So
them.
yeah, there are fights to be made that in that division, but yeah, I mean, Yafai will probably want to move up. I mean, to get even bigger stuff. I mean, fights.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, we'll see. Huh.
yeah.
I just know he's 5'4". That's interesting. Same as Nassim Hamed, who is also of the same heritage, Yemeni British, as
Oh, okay.
Yafai. Yeah,
So Yemeni descent. Okay, okay. I wasn't sure. Okay, good to get. So interesting,
mm,
yeah, because Edwards is like 5'2", because I noticed he was taller than Edwards. I think Edwards is somewhere around 5'2" or somewhere in that nature or in that range. So
yeah,
very
probably.
interesting. So some prospects are
Yes.
out there for each.
I didn't know. Yeah, that actually his brother is Charlie Edwards. That's right, the guy that
Oh
was
yeah,
knocked out by
yeah.
Casimero.
I knew of Charlie Edwards. I didn't know they were brothers until recently, as a matter of fact, which is very interesting. So both from some fighting, both have fighting brothers,
Yeah,
which is very interesting. And apparently, the two had sparred previously. I don't know, maybe on multiple occasions, things of that nature. So there was some familiarity there between Yafai and Edwards, based on what I was hearing on the commentary side. So interesting,
yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Very much.
He's yeah.
So
I'm just looking at that. Oh, anyway, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's right.
well,
Charlie
we're
is the
here.
older. Yeah, that's
Oh, Charlie
right.
is older. Okay, okay,
Mm.
cool. Yeah, I had to look in the. Yeah, I remember Charlie. For sure. But all right, folks, that's Edwards Yafai. So I would say that it lived up to the hype as far as what we saw from Yafai. Not so much from Edwards. I thought it would be a better fight, but there we have it, folks. We know what went down. 6 rounder, and it was out of there, or they were out of there. Galal Yafai, one to watch here moving forward, continuing forward. Now the undercard was all right as far as I'm concerned. There, by Gavin Gwynn lost the contest to Vuong. I forget Vuong's first name, but this was a
Yeah,
young fighter, and this was a step up for him.
yeah. That was a clear robbery. I mean, I thought
You
Gwyn
know,
really
Gavin Gwynn won.
dominated. Yeah, he dominated most of that fight. I mean, Wong was very passive for like half of the fight at least. He was on his bike, backpedaling a lot, and then he
Yes,
managed to win. Yeah, had some good, rounds and landed some punches, but I mean, yeah, he did kind of bruise up win, but
yeah. If
it
you
looked,
judge their face afterwards, Vuong was
yeah.
good.
Judging by his face, yeah, I mean, you think that Wong was really dominant and busting up, but no, I think just that Win absorbed some really hard shots, but he won. I thought he won definitely. I mean, I don't know, really 6, 7 rounds. I'm not sure how many, but
Hmm.
definitely enough to win. But yeah,
Yeah.
he also thought the same, of course.
Yeah, I know the commentators was mentioning they viewed it as a big step up for Wong, and hey, the judges, man,
Yeah, he
they see
didn't
differently.
exactly prove them wrong.
Right,
There are
right.
many slaves. Yeah, but
Yeah, the
now he's
judges.
got a win and he can maybe learn from it. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, you're right. Then Kirion Conway took on something Kelly. I forget the Kelly's first name, but Kirion Conway, I thought, pretty much handled that fight.
Oh, yeah.
The guy was taller and longer, but he wasn't able to take advantage. And Conway got that contest, I thought, fairly clear from what I saw, at least
Yeah.
in it. So he was on a fight prior. He might have been the co-main.
Ryan,
No.
Ryan Kelly. Yeah.
Oh, Ryan Kelly. Okay, so yeah, I thought that Conway got that one clearly in my.
Which the best? Sorry, which the best fight on this whole card was one of the first ones, which was a 6 round fight between Lee Bowen and this guy from Wales, Todd. I don't remember his first name.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that one. I didn't see it. How did
That
was
was
it good?
that was all fire. I mean, I mean, Todd got stopped in the 5th round, but he also dropped Bowen and
Oh,
Bowen,
you
the
know what?
tall guy, the
You're
tall
right.
ginger.
I did see
Yeah,
that one. That was the redhead, Bowen's redhead from
yeah, redhead.
Ireland.
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
or
You're right. That
ginger,
was.
as they say in UK.
Yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
right.
Ginger. Yeah, no, you're right. That was the best one because I saw when Bowen got dropped and he was a little bit lackadaisical and
Yeah,
just
that was what an epic round. I mean, all the rounds, and then Bowen stopped Todd with a body shot.
oh yeah, it
Yeah,
was the nice when he slipped in there to the body. Oh yeah, you're right. I did see that one. For some reason, that wasn't listed here, but I did see that one. It was a pretty solid one.
and not least, we had one major name fighting. I don't know why
Yep.
he fought first.
Yeah, he was the
Callum
first. Yeah,
Callum Smith. He
Callum
stopped
Smith. Yeah, he
this
made his
Colombian.
return, trying to get back
Yeah.
in the mix there. Well, let me see what weight that was at. That was at light heavy, so still
Oh, like
operating there. But I saw
I
that,
see.
so he pretty much handled that guy. It was pretty much
You know, actually, I see he actually came a little over that weight, over 175. Yeah, but anyway,
interesting.
yeah, he looked all right. Carlos Galvan, yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, it was an opponent
I
he was
mean,
gonna beat for sure, but
yeah,
he didn't look
Galvan
too
was
bad.
tough. He came to fight, but Calvin
Yep.
was just much, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and the size, of course, with Kellum
yeah,
works well
big,
at
big
that weight.
difference.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
did catch that one as well, and yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what transpires with Kellum because of
yeah,
course 175 now we still have Bivol and Better Biev up there, and Better Biev he did fight him and was broken down, so
yeah.
we'll see what
That
he's
didn't
able to
go
do.
well.
Maybe
Yeah.
a Joshua Buatsi or something. I think that's a name we've thrown out
Oh
there
yeah,
before.
that one
Joshua.
should have happened already. I don't know why they don't do that fight. I mean, but hopefully next year, yeah, we'll see that finally. I mean, Watsi did come finally. Who did he last beat? It was a domestic
Um,
name.
the other British, other
Willie Hutchinson. That's right, Willie
oh yeah, Willie
Hutchinson.
Hutchinson, and prior to that, Dan Aziz, I believe. Yeah, yeah. So you're right.
Yeah,
So those are
yeah,
two
yeah.
good wins, two solid wins for this past, well, for 2024. So,
See, he hasn't actually scored a knockout since 2021. So all those wins were on points the last four.
oh yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, interesting right there. So yeah, we'll see if he can turn over another knockout. But another name, of course, against him, Anthony Yard, been thrown out there. I
oh
saw
yeah,
Yard
that's
a
right.
couple months ago or whatever, and I thought he's just kind of meh. He has moments where he looks pretty good, and then the
Oh
fight
yeah,
ends up dragging out, and it's just like, man,
I thought I
he
saw
looks
that.
the part, but just something is not there.
Yeah, I did see that fight. I remember now. That was last month. Yeah, or actually not last, but in October. We are already in December. I forget. Yeah,
Yeah, if you went with okay, it looks, you be like, oh, this guy looks like he's just gonna run through these fighters, but I just feel like
yeah,
with Anthony Yard, that's something.
mm.
Maybe it's how
Yeah.
he preps or something like that. Because I heard they were saying at one point back that he didn't spar or things of that nature, and that's interesting, right? But I
Yeah.
don't know. Then he was saying that, oh no, it's not true that he said he does spar. So very interesting to have that rumor thrown out there, right? So
Yeah, he should get a fight like with Blatzy or Smith soon because he's now like 33, so soon he'll be past his
he's in
prime.
line for that. Those
Yeah,
two, the combination of those three fighting, I think that's a pretty solid fight from a British standpoint. So we'll see. Maybe
yeah,
even throw Craig Richards in the mix as well and
very
see how,
interesting.
you know. But
Yeah, but
more from yards to be seen. And then another fight that was on there was, of course, Lewis Richardson, who pretty much lost every round except for the last one where he might have won, where he sprung out and did a little
oh yeah,
bit. But
yeah, Richardson. That might have been the end of his career. I hope. I mean, he
yeah,
hasn't shown anything now since for a
talk about
while.
a swift change because he was a big ticket seller, and man,
Yeah,
it's just like as that level stepped up, it's just like harder and harder for him to get a win, and not just that, but usually he just loses pretty much every round in these contests as
yeah.
well.
I don't know really why he wants to continue fighting since he's obviously done. I mean, as a serious, well, he was never really a serious force, but he was
Yeah.
a contender, But I wonder how he ever made 135. He's 5'10". He's a pretty big guy. I mean, for
Oh yeah.
even for a welterweight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Yeah.
was weird.
Yeah.
I
That's it.
remember when he first lost to that guy Patera, Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I remember looking at him back then because he was kind of hyped at the time. And I was just said, this guy isn't gonna make it. This guy isn't gonna achieve anything
Oh
because
yeah.
the way he lost, once
Yeah.
Pantera started, to how do you call that, to adapt to his style, that was over. Ritson had nothing to come back
Yep.
with. Yeah,
Yeah. So he was the co-main event at that. So
yeah, yeah. I don't know
and
why,
then
but
oh yeah, and then he let me see, it was the Miguel Vasquez. Yeah, he robbed Miguel Vasquez. I don't know if you recall that when he fought Louis Riston,
I don't
and he
think
was
I watched
robbed.
that. But yeah, I
It was a
see that
highway
he has.
robbery, if you recall that.
Yeah, I see that he has like a split decision on his record there. Yeah, against him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
also
If
kind
you
of
go back
wonder
and
how
look at
did
it,
he.
well, I know we said it at the time, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
man. I
Oh,
mean,
you know what? He fought Zlatan Cannon.
yeah, right. I mean, UK now. I don't know what's going on there, but the judging has. We've seen some terrible decisions lately there. Also, I mean, hey, I
Yeah.
would have salute. Yeah,
Yeah, this
I don't know.
what's going on?
I mean, they have a problem. Definitely, they have a problem with the judging now, and yeah, but I don't know. It doesn't look good, really. It seems to be a problem almost everywhere. I mean, everywhere where there
Yeah,
are
for
big
the most
fights.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
pretty much everywhere there seems to be. Hey,
yeah,
I say put your best foot forward. If you have judges that you know are good, then you should be using the good judges in the best fights and
yeah.
not putting any
Usually
controversial judges there.
I've noticed there is always one judge that's kind of an outsider, and he's usually the only impartial one who gets the score right. But the other two are like, both judges, whatever you want to call it. And they always give the fight to a guy that doesn't deserve it, but who is
Yeah,
kind of, protected. Yeah.
like a
That's,
97 or 98,
yeah.
92, 97, 93, or 98, 92 going both ways. It's like, hold up now. There's two different fights you're watching. Come on.
Yeah.
That happened in a
And then
fight recently.
when they read the scores after that Wong Win fight, and I heard 97, 93, 96, yeah, I was like, yeah, pretty fair. I think Win won around that, that many rounds. But then they said Wong. I'm like, what? No way.
Oh, yeah, and it was unanimous.
Yeah, that's really, mind boggling. I mean, how they could give, I mean, especially 7 rounds to a guy who was backpedaling and fighting off the ropes for like, 60% of the fight, let's say, at least. Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I thought, yeah, it didn't yeah, it wasn't super appealing. Yeah, and Gavin was coming forward and so I kind of
Yeah.
turned. I was preoccupied myself, so I didn't watch every second of it because, but yeah, like you said, hey, it's just interesting, with the judging, man. Sometimes how they see things, and I could say even from my own perspective, sometimes I'm not on par with what the other judges see. So I don't know if there's necessarily a one for one fix. It's just like some people
Yeah.
are gonna see
I
some
mean,
interesting things.
some fights like Bivol versus Beterbiev, all right. I mean, that wasn't such a big robbery or a robbery, maybe. I don't know. I thought
Yeah,
Bivol
yeah,
won, but it was close, close enough that it can
yeah.
be seen
I
as
agree.
not a robbery anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's what. Yeah, some people might have thrown out robbery. I felt that Bivol won, but yeah, I don't think it's a robbery, especially when you look
Yeah.
at it
It
in
was
terms of
like
how it actually went down.
7 rounds to 5 or something. I thought
Yeah,
that
it
it
was a
was.
very close round, and it came down to preference, as you said, with Bivol kind of, especially in the latter portion, working from the back foot at least, and he was landing some shots, but better be
Mm,
marching forward, and of course he had the more appealing shots landed in terms of that thud behind him. But even though Bivol did land some pretty crisp shots himself in spurts, so it made it interesting for sure. But I'm with you. I don't think it was a robbery. And hey, we get a rematch out of the mix, so we'll get this. Hopefully, get this settled somewhat.
We win. Everybody wins. Let's put it away.
Yes, cool. So Kurbanov picked up a 6-round TKO in Russia.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Samake, 7th-round TKO in France. Then you had Soto. I can't remember his name. I don't know if it's Edwin Soto. Picked up a 10-round split decision in a fight in Mexico. And then I think Manny Robles fought on there, or A. Robles. Is that Manny Robles? When I think about the trainer, but 10th round or 2-round KO. Then this past Friday, you had Chris Eubank, or not Chris Eubank, but what is his name? What Eubank something? What's the Eubank brother?
Oh, Harlan.
No, yeah. So he's
a cousin, I believe. A cousin, something.
Okay, like cousin. Okay, yeah, Harlan, right?
Yeah, Harlan.
Yeah, he picked up an 8th-round decision. He fought this past Friday. So again, I didn't catch any of these. I don't know if you caught them, but
no, I didn't. Because they weren't on the Zone or Sky Pro. Okay. I don't know about Sky, but the Zone, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it was a variety of different places these fights were shown, from YouTube to ESPN to that new, what they changed BT Sports to. That's what the one is, I guess, TNT Sport or something like that. Over there in the UK, it used to be BT Sports or something like that.
I know. Yeah.
And then going back there, we didn't get to talk about these. If I recall, I think me and you may have mentioned them. Oh, yeah, we did get to talk about them, but we didn't get to talk about Brandon Adams versus Katsarakis. Brandon Adams lost to Katsarakis via, I think it was split decision. This happened in Katsarakis. He's a Greek fighter. This happened this past Friday, not this 2 Fridays ago, basically.
Interesting, because he's a guy Adams fight out of Atlanta a lot, it seems, but he lost.
Yeah, so he's now tied to Overtime Boxing, and they're based in Atlanta, so that's where that comes from.
Well,
and they have a deal with the Zone, so their stuff is shown on the Zone as well as they show it on YouTube.
Katsarakis is the first good Greek boxer since God knows how long. Like, I remember there was around Second World War that you had this Anton Christoforidis, the light heavyweight champion.
Oh yeah, I heard the name there.
Yeah. But he was good. He wasn't a champion for long, but he was good, definitely.
Yeah, well, time will tell if Katsarakis is able to meet that championship stage. But certainly, he and Brendan Adams had a close, rough and tumble fight, and it was split decision. Some thought Adams might have deserved to win, but I thought that it came down to preference. Of course, Katsarakis, he was coming forward the entire time, and Brendan Adams spent a lot of the fight, especially the early portion, with his back against the ropes, though he was landing there at different points. So it came down to another one of those close ones right there. So I wasn't mad at the verdict either way. But yeah, Katsarakis won it. Yeah. And I did go back there, Boz, and I watched Chris Billum Smith versus Zerto Ramirez. And I know you had mentioned that. And man, I didn't realize how bad Billum Smith was defensively. He was Zerto had some power, man. Billum Smith might have had his head dislodged from
He's a tough guy. Lucky for him, he's a strong guy. But he just got better.
Yeah, I favored Billum Smith going in, and he's a big, as you mentioned, tough guy. And he had a few moments, but it was definitely a clear victory for Ramirez. Man, he was landing some huge shots. So I give it to Billum Smith. He is tough. He has a chin on him based on that. But yeah, that was a lot of damage, a lot of clean punching he was taking. He was a little bit reckless defensively, I would say, even.
I mean, Zurdo Ramirez, he may look bad against Bivol, but otherwise, I think he's a really A-level fighter. I mean, he is very talented.
He has a lot of experience.
Yeah, for a big guy, he's really, I mean, he can put his punches together well. He really can box and, punch good enough. And,
and he seemed to be able to maintain that activity for 12, which was never an issue for him, really. He was always able to maintain activity throughout a contest. So that's, I think, a plus for him being there at cruiserweight, because you get the sense that he's going to be there for all 12 rounds. So that makes it interesting. So I would, as you mentioned, like to see him and Jay Opataya. Maybe that's something we get. And that seems like one that makes the most sense as far as the names there at cruiserweight, right? So maybe we get that. I think that would do well. Is also maybe Riyadh.
Zurdo is fighting at his right weight now, and that's good for him. He was obviously he outgrew the light heavyweight, too fast, because sometimes when people go up like that, it just happens a little too fast, so they cannot stay in the division between very long. So,
it was pretty obvious too, or you could just see that was going to be an issue, because I know there was a fight. I think his last fight there, he was gonna fight. He missed weight by like 7 or 8 pounds or something like that. Then it's okay, he's done here. And he had just moved up, so I can't remember. He may have fight twice at light heavyweight or something like that. It's like crazy, but very interesting. And then I also saw Oscar Collazo against CP Freshmart as well. Well, I saw the rest of them except for I didn't finish the Duarte one, but you were you were right about that one.
Yeah, what was his real name? Myon Tron something.
Yeah, I can't remember his real one, but I always liked his name. Knockout CP Freshmart.
That was one hell of a performance. I mean, by Collazo, of course.
Yeah, you were right.
I mean, because that guy came to fight Mr. Freshmart. But Collazo just took him apart with those punches. Really.
And as you noted there, CP Freshmart came to fight, but I remember you had mentioned beforehand that it was clear for Collazo, though, and I felt that way. Like Collazo is just a better fighter, and that ultimately was the difference right there. And I think Collazo, he's pound for pound talent, and I want to see more of him. Bring some excitement there to the lower weights, minimum weight, essentially. And as long as he's on television, I think you get to see just some of the talent in the divisions down there. And this was a big fight right there. This was a big fight, probably bigger than what some may have realized, because knockout CP Freshmart, he had his backing doing his thing there in Thailand primarily. But, man, that's a heck of a win right there for Collazo, especially at this stage of his career,
I mean, Freshmart was, they said, the longest reigning champion at that time in the world, actually.
Amazing. But so I definitely wanted to mention those two, and I still need to see Zepeda Farmer and Ramirez Barboza. But
that was a good fight. Zepeda Farmer, really was very surprised. I mean, impressed with Farmer. There.
And I didn't think much of him going into it, I will say. All right, I'm going to take a look here of what's coming up real quick here, Boz, because we do have a few. I'd imagine something coming up. I'm trying to get it to pop up here. I'm just looking at the schedule for what's next. And so next 30 days, we'll really kind of just take it week to week. So it looks like December 7th is the next marquee name fight, which is going to be a card that features Emmanuel Navarrete in a rematch with Oscar Valdez. I think this will be more so for the fans, because I think that Oscar Valdez, best days are behind him for sure. That being said, it should be interesting at the very least. It should be interesting and have some fan excitement. This was taking a little bit to load, but it looked like there may be something that happens before that. Let me double check here. But that being said, Navarrete, of course, he moved up to, I believe it was 135 or something like that recently, and lost. And and it looked like he just kind of just went up there, so it was interesting. But the card in itself is pretty decent. So Navarrete, Valdez for seventh, and then you have Espinoza and Ramirez in a rematch. This being Rafael Espinoza and Robeisy Ramirez. So that could be a pretty good one right there. And then you have Lawson versus it cut out on me, but Lawson versus Santiago. Giovanni Santiago. So he's making his return after losing to, I believe it was, what's that guy's name? Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr. beat him.
Yeah.
And of course, Santiago has beat Rocha.
There's also in San Juan, there we got Liam Paro versus Richardson Hitchens as well for the IBF title 140. Yeah.
Oh, that is right. Yep, IBF World Junior Welterweight Championship. So we got a world title fight on tap. That should be a good one. And they're going down in Puerto Rico, baby. That would be nice to be over there to check it out. That should be an interesting contest right there. I like Liam Paro. That being said, it should be a very good one.
Yeah, he was. I thought it was an upset when he definitely when he beat Subriel. Yeah, Matias. I didn't expect that. But he's good fighter, Paro. No joke.
Oh yeah.
I think looks like he have an evenly matched fight. Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like Christopher Diaz and Henry LeBron, or one of the LeBrons on there. I think Henry LeBron. Then you got Mark Castro's going to be fighting. So yeah, interesting right there. But Paro Hitchens. Hey, Hitchens got a close one, and we was in there with the guy Keyshawn Davis knocked out recently, and some thought that Hitchens might have lost that contest. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with Liam Paro. It's going to be a tough one. Rodolfo mentioned, turns out Taraji vacated his belt, and he's at flyweight now, so 108 is wide open right now. Oh, interesting. Yeah, interesting for sure.
Yeah, he was a flyweight when he won that last title, but he's. I didn't know he vacated it. That was fast. Only a month after.
Yeah. Then also on the 7th, there's a British card on TNT Sports, which is good. You're going to have Pauls versus Bentley at middleweight. Denzel Bentley, I forget Paul's first name. His last name's Paul. He looks pretty decent. I saw him in his last fight out. So that's going to be happening. Also, Lawrence Okoli's going to be on there. Then that guy, Noakes, looks like he's going to be taking on Liam Walsh. Noakes is, I think he has majority knockouts in this contest. So he's going to be fighting. Then like David Adelaide is making a return to the ring as well. So that should be interesting. David Adelaide. But and then apparently Manuel Char is fighting.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say that was just a ridiculous thing. I mean, that
WBA World Heavyweight title.
For that. That was just preposterous. Man.
What the heck, WBA? You mean to tell me you couldn't find any other heavyweights?
If they had made some kind of WBA, all the guys title, then I would be all right. Senior title. But
that's crazy.
Is actually, the thing. So, man, crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy right there. So WBA World Heavyweight title fight between Manuel Char and Kubrat Pulev. Neither who's done anything to even be fighting that contest here at the plate. That's crazy.
Whoever wins that fight won't be champion for very long because of their age.
That's crazy. So yeah, we have that coming up. Interesting. And then Rozicki, Canadian cruiserweight, is taking on this guy by the name of Peralta, but there's a WBC cruiserweight championship, so that could be interesting to see how Rozicki, I think that's how you pronounce it, Rozicki, see how he looks in there. Another name at cruiserweight.
Yeah, Rosicki, yeah. Hey,
So,
Paul, right. He shows up at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Paul.
Cheers there, Paul. Hey, appreciate you dropping by. It says, what's up, fella? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We did. Happy Thanksgiving there to you, Paul. Yeah, matter of fact, happy Thanksgiving to all. Here
I don't
past
really celebrate it, but happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you had it. You had a good one anyway.
Yeah, hopefully people have enjoyed it. But yeah, good times for sure. But yeah, you caught us right here at the tail end there, Paul. We are just talking about what was coming up. But a lot of fights, a lot of cards coming up. So it's gonna be a busy weekend right here. You have a mix of big names and all of that. So definitely a good weekend coming up for some boxing action. So be sure to tune in, folks, and we will be here to talk about it for the most part. So with that in mind, certainly thank you everyone who dropped by on this little late edition of it. And we will be back in the mix here. Simplify there, Paul. All right, Rodolfo, Skywalker, Edis, Bruce Gas, everybody who dropped by. You're all appreciated. So we'll check you out. Have a good one.
Have a good one.